Retro Rebel Gamecast is brought to you by TempleofGeek.com, your one-stop shop for all things geek. You can find all our episodes and fulfill your sci-fi, fantasy, and geek culture-related needs at TempleofGeek.com. Welcome to the Retro Rebel Gamecast, where we discuss gaming and related topics. Retro Rebel is released Fridays, and you can find this episode and much more by heading to TempleofGeek.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts. You can even find us on Facebook and Instagram at Retro Rebel Podcast for exclusive content and to see what else we're up to. My name is Amanda, and today I'm joined by a special repeat guest host, Tom. Welcome back, Tom.
This is horrendous.
You loved it last time. That's why you wanted to come back.
I specifically requested an entourage on my next visit. I requested the buffet,
Yeah.
the canopies. Where's my food? Where's anything? Like where's the spread that I was promised?
I
I'm gonna speak
apologize.
to
Looks
my.
like your writer is a bit delayed.
I'm gonna have to speak to my what do you call him?
Your agent.
Agent. That's the one. Yeah, I was gonna say advisor. Like
You're not very good at pretending to be a celebrity.
listen, you can't. There's no point pretending when you already won. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. Okay, perfect. Well, I'm glad that you could take time out of your day to come and record again with us. And just like last time, we're going to go through very quickly with what we're playing. Now, I just finished playing Firewatch and I joined like a book club sort of discussion about it. Um, I don't know if you had heard from the previous episodes, but I did talk about that it's sort of an atmospheric walking simulator with a RPG element baked in. So this is the one where
Hmm.
the wife has dementia and you decide whether or not you're going to put her in a home, and then the family hates you pretty much no matter what you do, and you decide to take a summer and go and spend it in the woods watching out for wildfires and just contemplating your life choices. And
What?
um it's a pretty interesting game actually, and probably
It was
fairly
just
true.
it was just sounding like life at the beginning bit, and then it got really weird about go off to a forestry to watch out for wildfires because they're so common.
Yeah.
Is this based in England? Because you don't get many wildfires in England.
No, no, it's in the States, and there's actually quite a
Oh,
lot of wildfires in the States. Although I would believe it even more if it was in Australia, but that's where you're in the story, that's where your wife's family is from, so you're trying to get
right.
away from them.
Okay, okay. Fair enough.
So what have you been playing? Are you still banging on the door of The Witcher?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. No, because I completed the first run and I've got the DLC content, so I've got Blood and Wine and Heart of Stone. And I've just completed Blood and Wine. I got the good ending this time.
All right.
'Cause last time I got the trash ending where the princess and her other princess sister get killed. Spoiler alert, by the way, if anyone's not played it. Just say,
Yeah, you said that after you spoiled it. Good job.
who cares? Like, you know what I mean? It's an old 2015. It came out. If you haven't played it now, you've been under a rock. It's 7 years old, And so I'm now playing the other expansion with this. The character at the beginning is called Gunther or Dim, and he's
Right.
called Mirror Master, and he's from the books, from the Witcher books, and he's such an interesting character, and he's the antagonist in this one.
Oh wow.
So it's nice to get into the third part of this DLC because it's got some lore behind it. Thank God, because normally when you get a DLC add on to a game, it's just a few extra levels and a few quests, but this is like legitimate good content, and I'm quite pleased with that. To be fair, so
Yeah.
and yeah, so I'm still trying to get my 100%. I have not gone up 8% since the last time I have played and
Oh
told you
wow.
guys
And
about it.
considering this is a two-part episode, I imagine next time nothing will have changed. So I look
Probably not.
forward to updating everyone on zero progress.
Yeah, well, I think it's just gonna be a running gag, like how much of a percentage have we made on which, and I'm like, oh, I've not made any. Like, if anything, I've lost percentage.
That's all
Like,
right. Stacy and I regularly joke about how we start and never finish games. So I think it's just being an older gamer at this point.
it's not that. It's just like I'm quite task driven as an individual, so I feel like I haven't got my money's worth out of it until I've completed all the tasks.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, one task for you to complete, at least today, is to discuss the top 30 best fighting games of all time as
sweet.
proposed by Game Informer, the great pundits and reviewers of video games themselves. We're going to split this into two parts, namely because Tom is very talkative and it's going to take an hour to just get through 15, guaranteed.
The only reason it takes an hour is because Monica has to do so many edits of me swearing. The poor
uh,
woman, you should give her more money.
I know.
Her,
Well, I mean,
her editing
more
skills would
than
be.
free, at least for sure.
Yeah, listen, tell me where she lives. I'll send her a hamper or something. Just a thank you.
Yeah,
That's
you'd
what
have
a
to. I think
celebrity do, isn't it?
California. She's pretty far away.
She's in California.
Hmm.
Oh, the poor woman.
She's an absolute legend. She always manages to cobble together whatever we record for this channel. So myself and Stacy are really grateful. And
Well, do you know what? I suppose it does help if people leave comments to say thank you to Monica or something. You know what I mean? I think she'd appreciate that. Not even a thank, just like the content. Even if you didn't like it, just like it anyway, because there's someone behind the scenes like really working hard to make sure that it's put together. And I think they deserve some credit rather than just me and you talking.
yeah, don't give us any compliments. Yeah, we
Yeah,
barely
don't do
do
it for us.
anything.
Don't do it for me, especially because I'm still waiting for my red carpet.
Yeah, sorry. Once again, the whole rider lost in the mail. What to say?
You know what I mean?
So we split into two parts. So today we're going to be doing number 16 to 30 on their list, and next week we will do 15 to the number one fighting game. So
Oh, nice one.
we're sort of starting from 30 and working our way up. We're going to split it into 2 weeks so that way we can really deep dive into this.
Yeah,
And
man.
I'm excited to see. You're obviously a much more prevalent fighting game fan than I am, but I have played some of these on here, so I do have some things to say about a few of them.
I haven't actually seen the list fully yet, but I'm sure I just want because I want the big reveal. I want the reveals. I don't want to see the list. I want you to tell me, and I'll go. Ugh.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, okay. That's fair
ooh.
enough. That's fair enough.
You
I
know,
I will note I did send you the list, so whether you wanted a reveal or you're just lazy, we may never know.
listen. I'm busy in Hollywood now. You know me. I ain't got time to read scripts.
Yeah.
I don't read scripts. Scripts read me. Have you ever heard that? I just Amanda. I'm a moment.
No, stop.
I'm a. You can't capture a moment. You know what I
Stop.
mean? I'm just trying to exist. I'm a being. You know that, like a happening. That's just me. Yeah, that's
Oh
what I'm
my
here for.
God. I hope that Monica cuts us all out. Right.
She's probably gonna. It'll just be 40 minutes of trash, and she'll have to edit it all.
No,
She's
no,
gonna
no.
be
We're
so
gonna
pissed
we're gonna
off.
get to it. Oh, Monica, I swear we're gonna get to it. We're gonna start with number 30. We're gonna get down to 16. We're gonna discuss these. If we've never heard of the game, I'll read what Game Informer says about it, and we'll move on. So
We'll
that way
try and
you
find
can.
the nearest thing too.
Cool. All right. So starting with number 30, we're kicking off with Injustice 2. Now, I believe personally this is an extremely popular game. I was sort of surprised that it was
Mm.
so low on this list. It's for PS4, Xbox One, PC, iOS, Android. It's a Warner Brothers game developed by NetherRealm Studios, and it came out in 2017. And this is a fairly violent ish knockout superhero game. With the DC Comics characters.
It is,
So
yeah.
you can see Superman punch and laser Batman in the face. That's pretty cool. Have you ever played this one?
Didn't play it. It didn't. It didn't appeal to me too much. However, I have watched the 2 hours 21 minutes YouTube story mode of Injustice, which I found was really good.
Oh
So, like
wow.
in the game, it has like story, like almost like a story mode setting, and it tells you through like it gives you how the fact that Superman could turn so evil, and it's all down to the Joker, really, really. Again, spoilers for anyone who's not played the game, right? So the Joker basically tries his life on easy mode. Instead of going for Batman, he goes for Superman, who's much more susceptible to the Joker's sort of antics, and he ends up he ends up tricking Superman to kill Lois Lane, who was pregnant with his child, attach a device to her heart, which also sets off a massive nuke in Metropolis. So when
Oh.
man thinks he's fighting Doomsday, and thinks he's killed Doomsday. He's actually just killed his wife and the unborn baby. At the same time as that's happened, a nuclear bomb goes off in Metropolis, so Superman's got nothing. So yeah, I can understand why he's a bit pissed.
Yeah. Oh, that's awful.
Listen, it's awful, but it makes for a great game. Do you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
and then Superman's on like the like all criminals should be exterminated. I won't stop until I've got a totalitarian
Yeah.
rule. I missed. And then there's a few of the other ones like Batman and stuff saying, "Listen, murder's murder." End of the
Yeah.
day, like you can't be doing stuff like that. Yes, he was a dickhead, but You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be putting your hand through his chest, like, you know. And the reason why Batman can go up against Superman is because there's like nanites that he had that will that give him like temporarily boosted Superman-esque powers.
Sounds like
Listen,
cheating.
fantastic game though. Like I don't know what else is on the list. I don't know how long this like what the time like era span of this list is. But for a first starter for number 30, I think that's pretty decent.
Listen, there are some games on here from the 90s, so I think this list is
Oh,
fairly
yeah,
comprehensive.
probably. Yeah. They've
Yeah.
covered all the bases. But it's just a it's not as gory as Mortal Kombat, but it has the Mortal Kombat esque sort
Well,
of like
it's made by the same studio that made Mortal Kombat, so
it
that's
is, yeah,
why.
it is because they did a Mortal Kombat DC crossover as well, but
Yeah.
you didn't have fatalities being performed on the superheroes because they didn't want to portray the superheroes getting dismembered and dismembered and things like that. They just had like I don't know how to explain it. I
Sort of
think they just had
goofy
like
endings, goofy
yeah, like
finishes.
goofy kind of like oh you've knocked him into space and therefore he's gone through the Phantom Zone and stuff like that. So
The
you
Phantom
know,
Zone. Well,
it's a thing.
that's number 30. I think it's a really strong entry to kick off
Yeah.
with. Number 29 is one that I've never heard of. It's from 2014, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. What a name. For
Wow.
PS3 and 360, so it's previous gen, well, previous gen. And it's from developer Arc System Works, publisher Atlus, and it has a very anime style. Like it's
Hmm.
2D animation. It looks like any sort of anime that you'd ever seen before, and apparently has an RPG influenced story to tie the game
Oh
together.
wow. I can't say I've ever heard of it. It probably didn't come across the pond like to where I was.
Yeah, entirely possible. I'll just, since neither of us have played it, I'll just read what Game
Mm.
Informer says. So they said, appealing to two different audiences is no easy feat, but Atlas managed to please Persona fans, which I guess Persona is a popular anime. I've never heard of it. Apologies.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
fighting
that's
game
fine.
enthusiasts with Persona 4 Arena. As a sequel, Ultimax continued the RPG influenced story and refined the original fighting concepts, resulting in a fascinating fusion. Provide new characters based on a variety of novel gameplay mechanics and didn't skimp on the cutscenes. It sat in an odd middle ground between genres, but Ultimax has something for every kind of fan.
I'm actually trying to find the game so I can just see if there's a reference in it.
Yeah, Persona
Holy
4.
hell! I have what? Yeah, I'm no,
Mm.
don't know that one.
It's an older game.
Yeah, don't know that one.
But it has kind of a fun anime art style. I think a lot of people
Oh,
would
it
like
certainly
it.
does. Listen,
Um,
it looks Caesar inducing, yeah. So that'll probably,
they
you know what
love
I mean?
it.
Yeah, who
Like Dance
wouldn't? It
Dance
looks like
Revolution.
Dance Revolution, baby. Like who wouldn't love
Perfect.
that?
All right. Well, number 28, I think, is one that we're all familiar with. It's Dead or Alive 4 for the
Oh my!
360 from Tecmo by Team Ninja. Came out in 2005. I mean, this was an early Xbox 360 near release title. It was very early to the
Did you play
game.
the first one?
I haven't played the third one. No. Mm-mm.
No, the first one. The first one.
No. Mm-mm. I
You haven't
only
played any of
played the
them.
360 version.
Oh wow. Well, so it was some of the characters in Dead and Alive. Yeah, do you know what I mean? The modeled a bit different. If
Like
that's all I'm saying.
bikinis. Yeah, I remember.
There's like there was a beach ball,
Yeah.
beach volley or beach ball mod. I
Yeah.
mean, not that I didn't see it. I just got told about it. You know what I
Oh
mean? It was on the
yeah, I
street.
bet. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
never played
It,
it.
yeah. I never played it, but it was just around at the time. But that's when I think of fighting games, right? Obviously, I think of like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, things like this. You know, things I'm kind of Tekken, things like that. Whenever I think of Dead or Alive, like before, it just conjures up uncomfortable feelings of fighting, beating up a woman with her chest out, basically. And I'm just like, come on, how can you concentrate on pulling up Hadoukens and uppercuts and whatever you need to do, right? When you've got some scandally clad, big titted woman like on your left, right, and side, you know what I mean? I'm a gentleman. I'm a gentleman's fighter. I don't need to be looking at some semi-clad sprite. trying to
Maybe it was
distract
for
me
your
with
friends that were watching you play, like to give them something interesting to look at,
trying to distract me with your spritey ways. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Just sprite ways.
I don't know
Shucks.
what else to say. It's borderline pornography at one point. You know what I mean? So it's just like
Listen, it was really intense. I do remember that it did get a little bit of concerned parental buzz at the time. But I think because it was less popular than other mainstream titles that were getting more traction at the time, like Grand
yeah,
Theft
I can't
Auto.
think of any though that are more risque than Dead or Alive and some of the outfits they have.
I don't know, but Grand Theft Auto had actual hookers. People were up in arms about this. They were, you remember at the time, you could go into the strip club, people were up in arms about this.
Oh come on, that's only like a two GIF animation. It's
I
just like
know, I
you
know.
sat there and you just do this, and then she goes wee wee baby, and then she just like shakes a little like her little corn titties. You know what I mean? But
Oh,
like they've some developer has actually put mechanics into these chebs that are on the screen. You know what I mean? Like he's put fluid motion into it. Like, and
yeah.
I'm like, why have you done that just to over sexualize it? I mean, don't get me wrong, the female form is a beautiful thing, but I'm trying to beat someone's head in. I don't need to look at their chebs. Like, do you know what I mean? You're making the game harder. What's the fucking point?
Well, maybe that's part of the challenge.
And it
maybe
just
maybe it gives players like me an advantage because we're not so distracted.
disadvantage.
All right, so moving on to number 27. Now, this is another anime style fighter, so chances are you probably haven't played it. It's BlazBlue Central Fiction or BlazBlue Central Fiction for the PS4, Switch, PS3, and PC. So I didn't play it, it wasn't on Xbox. It's from Aksys Games. The developer is Arc System Works, which I think is the same one from before.
Mm,
Yeah, same
yeah,
one
it is.
from the earlier title. And it's another anime style fighter from the same developer. Slightly less seizure inducing graphical style, but only slightly from the looks of it. And it
Listen,
has
just looking at the
35 playable
screenshot.
characters.
Yeah, looking at the screenshot of it, the graphic design animation looks amazing. To be fair,
Mhm.
like it looks really good. Almost looks like a comic book panel.
Yeah,
Like really
almost.
detailed, really nice.
Yeah.
So I can imagine it's quite a smooth game to play. Just I've never played it. Like I don't know much about it, but I'm just looking from the snapshots of the game. It looks fairly decent. I mean, I'm sure Monica could probably just put a few videos in here and then
Mm.
you know use some of those editorial
Oh,
skills that
she
she's
will. Don't
developed.
you worry.
You know,
So, just to describe what Game Informer says about BlazBlue Central Fiction, so they say the stories in fighting games are frequently viewed as inconsequential, but the complicated tale in BlazBlue is a big part of its appeal. The Central Fiction served as a satisfying conclusion to a long running arc, but it also delivered on the combat front with 35 playable characters competing in matches that encouraged offensive play. The highly technical bouts reveled in their complexity, making Central Fiction a rewarding entry for seasoned players. So it sounds like it was hard.
yeah, it sounds like it's one of those impossible Chinese fighting games.
Possibly. And the next one doesn't look much different. This is number 26, The King of Fighters,
Oh, I remember this. I
13.
remember King of Fighters. I remember playing that in the arcade.
Oh, wow. Well, this is number 13 for the PS3, 360, PC Arcade
Yeah, I
by the
remember this.
publisher Atlus, but developer SNK from 2011. Um,
SNK did a lot of good fighting games, you know. Like,
yeah, love
I don't know
it.
if you know much about them, but like seriously, they did a few pearlers. King of the Fighters was one of them. Like some of their earlier stuff. Terry Bogard, I think, is one of their characters. A typical American style Japanese interpretation. Do you know what I mean? Like
mm,
the cap on, normally
yeah.
takes it around the back. Looks like he's a baseball player, but then like he's got jeans on with a little shirt and stuff.
It's
Like
great.
you actually, I think you would have liked it as growing up. You definitely would have liked it. It would have resonated in some respects. But it was a good game. I liked it. That was alright.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, the description says that unlike many games of the time that were going to 3D models, this was one of the few franchises that stayed in the 2D realm, and as a result, it's
It did.
aged pretty well.
Yeah, it did. Mm.
All right. So scooping on to 25, this is Bushido Blade for the PS1. The publisher is Square, developer is Lightweight from 1997. And to be fair, for 1997, it's looking all right. It answered the question, how long would you last in a real sword fight? Probably not very, is the answer.
Oh, I've never played this, but I think it's the game where that you can get killed within like one or two hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
You're
it's just
supposed to
game over, isn't
parry,
it?
roll, and use the terrain.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't waste my hard-earned arcade money on this, nor did I waste my hard-earned thievery money on this either when I was a kid. So I just read about. It's probably on a Mojo watch list. I've seen this. You know what I mean? I've not
Yeah.
actually. I've never actually played the game, but I'm aware of it.
All right. Well, it looks pretty decent. The graphics are very PS1.
It
But
looks like a virtual fighter with swords.
yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Haven't
that's
played
the
it,
best way I can put it.
so I'll just read what they've said here on
Yeah,
Game
go on.
Informer. PlayStation game featured duos battling for supremacy, but its high stakes combat was far removed from what the rest of the fighting game genre was attempting. Battles could be over in a flash the moment the combatants let their guard down. Skilled players could parry, roll, and use the terrain to their advantage, creating fights that felt as cinematic as they were brutal. So pretty unusual. There wasn't a whole lot of parrying and terrain usage in 1997. Obviously, Mortal Kombat and many of the other games will
Yeah.
do that later, but not this time. All right, so the next one, 24, and I'm loving the art style, although what you had to say about scantily clad women is definitely the case for one of the characters on this screen here. It is number 24, Skullgirls for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PS3, Xbox 360, Vita PC, Mac, Linux, and iOS. Jesus. Oh, sorry, Android and arcade. So pretty much
Oh my
everywhere.
god. It must have done well then if it's gone across like every single known platform
Yeah, it's gone
to
across
man.
everything. It's from Marvelous. The developer is Revenge Labs. It came in 2012, and this is an anime style game with a
Yeah.
very dark looking premise and dark looking art style. It looks cool. I haven't played it. Have you played this one?
No, no, never played it, but
No.
it certainly looks interesting. Reminds me of Darkstalkers. I don't know if you know that game.
Mm-mm, no.
Oh, it's got well, just from that screenshot I can see on my phone, it does look typically like that. Like it looks like Darkstalkers, kind of like graphics and design. Probably plays quite similar to it as well. But yeah, again, another scandally clad um, game.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I
Borderline
will
like it's
just
borderline
read.
like hentai anime fucking fighting game basically. It is. That's what it is.
That's fine. So the Game Informer description, a bit of it just says that Revenge Lab's visually stunning fighter wowed us with chaotic team-based battles and a roster of monstrous hand-drawn fighters. Fortunately, Skullgirl's complex but approachable combat proved its beauty was more than skin deep. An extensive tutorial system eased newcomers into advanced tactics, and its fluid action made Skullgirls a hard fighter to put down. So
Do you
I
know
guess
there's a
it
lot
was
of innuendos in that? I've heard hard, fluid, eased into.
the
I'm just,
baby.
you know what I
No,
mean? Look, listen, I'm just saying, I'm just picking these keywords up. Even in the description, it's trying to sell sex. That's all I'm saying.
this is awful. This is written by Game Informer though, so maybe whoever wrote it
Game
was
of Thrones
just
need to clean up the act, clearly,
just a
because this
bit
is filth.
horny at the time.
What? Whoever written that must have been. I'll be on my editor's case if that was the case. I'd have watched this smut like you've presented me this game.
All right. Well, innuendos notwithstanding, let's move on to number 23, which is a true classic Xbox One, SNES, Game Boy arcade title, Killer Instinct,
Oh
the one
yes.
with the
Oh,
dinosaur.
that was an amazing game. So next to Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct was my go-to. I only ever played one character on that was Fulgor because he was like a badass predator robot, and his combos were pretty easy to pull off. It was forward, back, then two buttons, then he'll do a little thing, then back forward, then he'll do another little thing, and then to do his super was just two. I call them fireballs. Just two fireballs with the hard button, and he'll just go into his like and then he'll do his 26 hit ultra combo. And I like the way the guy said it at the end. It was like ultra, ultra, as if he's falling off something, like like falling down a cliff. Ultra, ultra. That was really, I loved it. It was a good. My friend used to fucking kick my ass on that so hard. It was unbelievable. He could play, he
Well,
could
it's been
play any
around for a
character
long
though.
time. The initial release was in 1994, and obviously
Oh,
they
that's
re-released it
listen.
on the Xbox One.
I'm
And
an old boy. That's right up my street. That is.
yeah, it's been around for a while. Publisher is Midway and Nintendo, and the developer is Rare.
Yeah, I was going to say
One
it
of
was rare.
their
Yeah,
very few very good titles.
they did. I know they did a remake, or they did a number two, Killer Instinct 2, and then they did like a remake version of it. I never got a chance to play number two or the remake. I was so ingrained in the first one. Like even when the number two came out, I was still playing the first one anyway.
Oh.
You know that, and I couldn't afford the second one, so you know what I mean. I
Awful.
had, I had to play the first one.
Terrible. All right, so the next one, I mean, I've got a lot to say about this franchise in general, but this particular version, I played in the arcade. This is number 22, Tekken 3 for PS1 and arcade, developed by Namco, published by Namco from 1997. This is one that I actually played in the arcades for
Mm.
sure. It there was like crazy 10 hit combos, like the character graphics look decent pretty much for the first time. It was, I mean, I say it again, Nina is where it's at, you know.
Oh my god, here's one of those. Why Nina? She was so trash.
No, she's so good.
Why was okay? Give me one. Give me one redeeming. Give me one good thing about Nina.
Okay, so the best thing about Nina is that she has reach. So her legs are longer than any of the other character models' legs. So if she gets a kick in, she can keep you at distance away from her much, much longer. And people are dumb. Like people want to move towards the fight. They don't think about rolling away and doing something from distance. And not a lot of the characters have a lot of powerful things to do from a distance. So generally speaking, once you got into one of those kick rotations, you could just kick them to death. It's
Listen, the
crazy.
only good thing of like the only positive thing I can think about Nina is her name. If you say it fast enough, just sounds like an ambulance.
Right?
Nina, Nina, Nina. That's the only positive thing I can think of her because I thought she was a trash character. The only good character I thought worth playing was either Law, obviously Bruce Lee ripoff, but
Yeah.
we don't say that. Yoshimitsu, straight in there with his sword. Yeah. And then maybe sometimes King. Not all the time if you fancy grappling. Paul wasn't too bad as well, actually. He was pretty decent. But Paul to me was a Ken ripoff from Street Fighter. You know?
Yeah, I'm just looking up the graphics for Nina on Tekken 3. I mean, she was so hot. I was obsessed.
Are you
Like
sure she's
like
a hot?
yeah, boy, sports bra Nina,
No,
fuck
mate. Look at the
yeah.
state of that. She's
She
got a
listen,
Poundland tank top on.
they all had cute boobs. I don't want to hear it. But
Yeah,
just
she's got
remind me.
leggings from Primark, and she's got a tank top from fucking Poundland. She looks
Yeah, okay.
trash.
Well, remind me because Killer Instinct, the definitive edition, is available for free on Xbox Game Pass, so I can download it for you if you want to give it a go.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay, so let's move on to one of my favorite games in this genre of all time, number 21, Soul Calibur 6 or
Oh my
5 or
god.
yeah, 6. 6.
Soul
This was
Calibur.
PS4, Xbox One, PC, Bandai Namco Entertainment from Project Soul and Dimps, released in 2018. Like, let me just tell you, yeah,
Yeah, I
Raphael.
just want to use it.
Uh, yeah, there's so many good characters. I'm just gonna look up the
Oh
character
my
roster
god.
of Soul Calibur 6 because I was just obsessed with how good all the character models looked.
Bloody hell!
Um,
Like I've just seen a screenshot there. Like, and I don't remember when I first seen Soul Calibur. It didn't look like this.
yeah, it looks so good. It's absolutely amazing. The
Like the Soul
graphical
Calibur armor was like blocky.
no, Soul Calibur 6 looks amazing. Okay, so I'm just looking up the character list. So let's see here. And oh, and then they did do a crossover where The Witcher came into Soul Calibur 6. That was pretty fun.
What?
Yeah.
Geralt's in there.
Yeah. So I love
Oh.
Maxi. He's the guy with the double fucking whatever these are called. I'm doing it
Like
on the
drumstick
video.
me, mate. Like just look at you playing the drums.
No. And then Taki, she has the Tonto, the little stick things. I loved her.
All right.
Ivy with the sword that splits apart and turns into a whip. If that isn't the coolest weapon in all of video games, I'm sorry. Like that is disgusting.
Wait, it's a sword that doubles up as a whip.
Yeah, so you remember Ivy's sword? You can make her it swing it like a whip. Like the sword becomes in multiple pieces. She swings it like a whip, and then whoosh, like hits you with the sword from distance, and it can wrap around your feet and like pull you back and stuff. That's she can stab it in the ground, and it'll come and bum tickle you. Like, yeah, the Ivy sword is, in my opinion, one of the most unique weapons in all of video games. Like, what a
Oh no.
creative idea to think of a sword that's like got like a metal chain in the middle and is, I don't know, like magnetically or magically separated and put back together. Sick.
What that sounds like is it sounds dangerous to the user.
Well, listen, it's hard
Do you
to
know what I mean? Like user beware. That's what I'm hearing there. That's a lot of lost fingers and eyebrows. That is.
You're so funny. Let's see. You had Mitsuyogi, who's like the samurai guy. You've got Astaroth, who's
Mitsuyogi.
like
Do you
the
mean?
demon
Oh, okay.
dude.
I thought you were going to say Yoshimitsu there, but I thought that was Tekken.
No, Mitsuyogi. And then
Okay.
Cassandra, who's like the, I don't know, sort of half Viking, half French looking, or like, I don't know, sort of maybe more French, like French
Because
looking.
French are notoriously known for being Vikings
Shush.
conquered. Oh, ho,
Listen,
ho, ho.
well, if I'm not mistaken, she gets a different costume. Or maybe I'm thinking of the blonde one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Listen, some of their characters are really cool. They look really good, and I'm probably rambling. So let's move on
No. Well,
to number 20, another favorite. Jesus, we're starting to get into the ones I know. This is Mortal Kombat 10. Sick AF game for the PS4, Xbox One, PC, iOS, Android from Warner Brothers, from NetherRealm Studios, same people who made Injustice. It came in 2015. Like every year, Mortal Kombat just gets more fucking sick. Like it is the same.
mm,
It's going to be the same and much of a muchness, but in terms of graphics, the kills, like
yeah.
all that shit just
Well,
gets so much better.
it's
I will
actually got a bit of
say,
lore behind it now. Like, it's actually got some storyline behind it, and each character is quite flushed out, which I think is quite nice. And this, like, again, the story arc is really quite developed, and I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm not in playing the game per se because I think when ten is 10 the is 10 the one where they started doing EX's moves and like the not the most modern one, but you went from the iterations of it being like over the camera shot and then like a shoulder shot to like where they've gone back almost to the original where it's like a Street Fighter kind of like 2D but quite defined
yeah, I
characters.
mean, I think, yeah, that's what I remember it
Because I
being
remember like Mortal
very the
Kombat
same.
Armageddon and things like that, and it just brings awful memories back. Because they were trying to do like a Tekken based thing where you could just go around in a circle and like from an overhead view and stuff,
Oh,
and it got
right.
quite
No, I don't remember any of that, but to be fair,
yeah, I remember
I'm
that.
not very good at it. I just like it.
But with this 10 one, or the ones I've certainly seen, it looks like they've definitely stepped the game up at one point. They had to they were falling behind. I think at some point, just like people were saying, like getting pretty sick, and the formula was getting quite old. But
Mm,
then obviously they revamped it with I don't know if it's 9 and above or 10 and above, but definitely looks much better now than it ever has done.
yeah. I
And like
just
with the gone, sorry,
No, I was just gonna say, and with the movie coming out recently, I feel like it's gotten people interested
that's
in the
really good
franchise
that
because the movie
movie.
was all right, you
Yeah,
know?
the movie's decent. I
Yeah, I
wasn't
didn't
I
hate it.
wasn't convinced about the main character of it though. I could have think of you know what I mean because you always think that's going to be Liu Kang who's going to be the main star of Mortal Kombat, don't you? And then when
Yeah,
it's not Liu Kang, it's someone else like Scorpio's descendant. I'm like, didn't even
yeah.
know you had one.
But
Didn't
listen,
even know you had a
Kano was
descendant.
everything. Kano was
Yeah,
everything and
it's
more.
so funny.
He was so
He
funny.
made it. He
Yeah,
absolutely made that. I
he
don't
was
know the
so
actor, but I think I've been told that the actor's actually pretty decent.
Uh, listen, I liked it. Okay, so then that was number 20. I do think that um, Tekken, Soul Calibur, and Mortal Kombat are pretty low for how good they are. Like
Yeah, but is this going to be the it's number 20 because that's like it's Mortal Kombat 10, and then when we get to like the last 10, then the original Mortal Kombat in the top five or something. You know what I mean?
we'll find out. I'm trying not to spoiler myself too
Oh,
much.
okay.
All right, so number 19, Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3 for PS4, Xbox One,
Oh yeah, I
PS3,
remember this. I
360,
remember playing
Vita,
this.
PC from Capcom, developer Capcom, and Eating
Yep.
from 2011. and
Yeah,
it's
I remember playing this in
freeform
the arcade, but
combos.
not number three. I remember playing the first one, like Marvel versus Capcom and things like this. So, but not
Yeah,
number three.
right.
But the formula, all I can imagine, by the time you got number three, the roster had gotten massive. You know,
Oh yeah,
like crazy massive. Because it was
yeah.
quite novel that in the first one you could have two characters. Like you could have like a main and a second,
Yeah,
and they could tag
like a
in.
tag team style.
Yeah,
Listen, the
that was
Marvel
quite a
versus
novel thing.
Capcom never really interested me. I've not played it, but I
I would,
know
I would
that
have thought you would have done being a Marvel.
I like it. But
Yeah.
I don't the style of infinite combo thing just really isn't in it for me because I'm a crappy gamer and I can't remember combos, so I was never gonna be good at it. I think that's why I didn't play it. But I know that it's super popular, so it makes
So
sense that
you didn't
it's
like it by
interesting.
default because you thought you were going to be trash at it.
Yeah, classic.
Excellent life strategy, that.
Listen, I'm not going to take any criticisms about my life, just this game. Thank you.
All right, cool.
All right, number 18, Street Fighter Alpha 3 for
Yes, mate.
PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PS2, PS1, Dreamcast, PSP, GBA,
Yeah, it was
PC,
all over the
Arcade
shop.
from Capcom,
Fucking
developed by
everywhere.
Capcom from
Brilliant.
1998.
Absolutely brilliant game. I used to smash the crap out of this. I was actually
This
pretty good at this one. It was
this
the first time
apparently
with it.
had a new fighting style called isms.
Isn't?
Yeah, so uh
I don't know what it
Warriors
is.
Dreams Aism, Street Fighter Alpha 2 Vism, Super Street Fighter Turbo Xism. Perhaps it says, so I'll just read it because perhaps the way I'm reading it is making sense. So arcade goers expected more of the same from the third iteration in this series, but Street Fighter Alpha 3 shook up Capcom's tried and true formula with the addition of three fighting styles called isms. Being able to
Mm.
harvest the combat flow of Street Fighter Alpha Warriors Dreams, Street Fighter 2 Alpha Vism, and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Xism completely shook up the speed, offense, and defense for each character. Alpha 3 also added more defensive strategies with perfect block timing.
Oh, wow.
So I
Okay.
guess you could change your fighting style for each character.
Sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like you could get like a really aggressive, a defensive one, a mid-range one, things like this. So, and obviously brought new life into the characters that you're playing. So you haven't got the linear move set anymore. Maybe the move set changed. Although I
Because I
don't
can
remember that.
see on the screen, on the screenshot, like the one on the left playing Akuma is playing with Aism, and the one on the right playing Karen is playing with Xism. And I'm just assuming that it's allowing them to access
We,
different move sets.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's what I'm going to assume as well. Akuma was the shit though. Like he was a glass cannon. He could dish it out, but if he ever got hit, it was trash. He absorbed damage like there was like, yeah, I say absorbed. He just you just look at him, you could damage him, but he could also dish it out. It's because he had like air fireballs and stuff. He had fantastic defensive capabilities as a character,
Right.
and
Well,
he's
comment
bit
below
cheat mode.
if you understand what Xism and Aism is. I didn't really play
Yeah.
Street Fighter, so I'm not terribly familiar. But if you have memories of choosing these fighting styles and what the difference was, I would like to know, without having to just Google it, because I think that's cheating, and people's personal stories are more
Well,
important.
that's it. I think there was a gentleman who made quite a poignant post last time, and it was actually quite nice to read because he actually sounded like he had some sense. And you should probably invite him on the show, to be honest. Well, but he made a comment on one of the last videos that we did, and I thought it was quite nice to have someone actually connect with that. So yeah,
Mm.
listen, that goes for anyone else. Like if you want to leave a comment for something, I won't personally read them because I'm too busy in my schedule of being movie star extreme, but I'm sure Amanda and the good people at Retro Rebel or Temple of Geek or whichever one it is, I don't know what show I'm on today. Listen, I'm just too busy. My schedule's too busy. I'll make sure that's one of my golfers read it to me.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, so number 17, and we're nearing the end of the list part that we're going to cover today. So number 17 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Switch from
No, good one.
Nintendo. It's Bandai Namco and Sora Limited production from 2018. Um, I would say that unlike the other games on this list, Super Smash Bros. Is a very different animal. it's
Hmm.
it's not a fighting game in the traditional sense. Like there's way more to it, and I think that's what made it so popular. Not sure if I would put the Switch version on here because at least in my opinion, the Switch is not as inaccessible of a console as some of the other ones, but maybe, and in fact, I'm almost certain this is just the first of multiple entries for Super Smash Brothers in this top 30 because
Hmm.
it's such a popular fighting game. Even style, it's even very much its own
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, 100%, actually, from what I remember. I know when I was growing up and Smash Brothers came out, like the early iterations of it, there was actually like local competitions in our like game stores. Like the one of them was called Chips, which I thought was quite funny. It was like a local game console shop, and they were hosting like tournaments to win TVs at the time and things like this. And they were using Smash Brothers as a tournamentally based game, and that's when I realized then if they were doing it in my town, that it must have been a greater a
Phenomenon,
greater
yeah.
thing. Yeah, it must have been a greater game to go further than that. So yes, I'm not surprised it's on the list. I would have thought like, what did you say this one is number three?
This is number 17. So it's we're nearly
No,
the
no, I
middle
meant
of the
like
list.
sorry, the iteration of this game is Smash Brothers 3.
Oh, this is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So this
Okay,
is the most
don't know what.
recent one that they've come
Okay,
out with from
that
2018.
that'll come on the list again. I think.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, I
All
think
right,
so.
and then the last one for part one is number 16, Dragon Ball Fighter Z for
Yes, mate.
PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC. It's Bandai Namco Entertainment. It's Arc System Works, so the people that did the developed the anime ones from earlier. This is a 2018 game. It is one of the newer games on this list,
Hmm.
but apparently incredibly popular. Now, I don't know. Have you played
Yeah.
this one? You have a PS4.
I haven't played it, but I am a massive Dragon Ball fan, so like I do know a lot about the Dragon Ball situation, and I've seen it on like YouTube, like must play like lists or like just walkthroughs and stuff. And again, it's got a good story mode to it. Almost feels like you're watching an episode of Dragon Ball Z on a Saturday morning because the way it sort of like goes through, and it looks really good. Like I would urge anyone to play it. To be fair, like I haven't got time because I'm too busy doing Hollywood stuff, but other people should definitely take that on board.
Well, since you haven't had a chance to play it, I will read the description. It says plenty of Dragon Ball fighting games have come and gone, but Fighter Z is easily the best. Along with being a fantastic fighting game on its own, it did an amazing job of emulating and improving on the visuals of the source material. It found a foothold in the competitive circuit right away, and Arc System Works has only improved the game post release. And it does look exactly like the episode of the show
Yeah, the
itself
manga,
from the
the
graphical
yeah, the
style.
anime.
Yeah, it
You
looks a
could
lot
watch it
like
on
it.
Toonami in the mornings for kids. You probably didn't get that over in Americana.
Not off the top of my head, no. But we had
No.
Saturday morning cartoons. That was very much a
Did you even
thing.
get Dragon Ball Z over there?
Yeah,
You did?
yeah. It was a
I
phenomenon.
thought
Everyone was
I,
obsessed with it.
I just would have thought that's like who was your president at the time? Sorry.
Probably Clinton.
Right, so wouldn't he just would have seen it as an invasion from the east? Doesn't like they're trying to
No,
ruin
no.
our
He
kids'
was he
mind.
was Democratic. He was a Democrat, so
Oh, he's a
he
good boy, was
wasn't a
he?
Republican. Yeah.
All right.
But
Never
I
mind.
have to say, like the late '90s, early 2000s were a real hotbed for imported shows. Like Pokemon was crazy popular, Dragon Ball Z was crazy popular. That one with the dueling dragons,
You
with the
mean Dual
cards,
Blade?
huh?
Dual Blade
No, it's
or
the one.
Beyblade?
Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh my god.
Yeah,
The
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Dual Monsters.
Exactly. There was Digimon, Digital Monsters, like
Oh my god,
there was
yeah.
so many. But yeah, it was super popular. All right, well, final thoughts on 30 to 16. There was some really good titles in there. What
100%.
do you think? Some maybe that you wanted to see higher, or do you think they were pretty accurate with where they put
No,
them?
to be honest, that's a pretty decent list. It's better than that other one. What was the other one? The other list? Rancor?
Yeah, we're
Ranker?
probably gonna step away from using that list.
Is it, whichever one was it? Listen, was it called Rancor? Ranker?
Ranker, yeah.
Rancor sounds like Rancor should be in the Rancor pit because it's
Ugh.
like it's it's clearly it's just no. But this list seems pretty pucker. I'm pretty happy with this.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I would
so far
say
so good.
the only thing that I was surprised about is that Soul Calibur 6 and Mortal Kombat 10 were so low in comparison. They are very, very good fighting games and like represent some of the
Mm.
best of the graphics to come out of the genre. So I'd be interesting. I haven't peeked, so I don't know what's ahead.
We're doing it blind. So if we get to number one and there's not another Mortal Kombat, and then yeah, you are justified. However, if there's another Mortal Kombat between 15 and one, quick maths, then yes, then then shut up. You got nothing to complain about. It's well placed.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll take that as your final thoughts, and I'll wrap up this episode of Retro Rebel Gamecast. I do want to thank Tom for taking time out of his busy schedule to come back to us for this week's discussion. All the notes from this episode will be posted on our site, templeofgeek.com. If you'd like to add to the discussion, reach out with questions, sound off in the comments, or email us via retrorebel@templeofgeek.com. And if you like what you hear, please head over to wherever you download your podcast and subscribe so you'll be sure to get each episode as it's released, and rate us because that really helps our show. And until the next time, we'll see you later.